ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. The Torah is composed of 5 books, the 5 books of Moses, the Pentateuch, and each one of them has a name. The first one is Genesis, in Hebrew Bereshit. The second one is Shemot. Where do they get these names? Usually it is the first significant word of the book. Bereshit starts with Bereshit. That's why it's called Bereshit. But my teacher, Rabbi Soloveitchik, says, it's not only it's the first word. It's actually telling you what the book is about. And in fact, Genesis is about origins, about the origins of the universe, how everything started, the origins of the Jewish people, about the patriarchs. And if you understand well our past history, maybe you will understand better the present, and maybe you can even project into the future as well. The second book is Shemot, which means names. Maybe it means the following: when you're a slave, you have no name. It speaks about slavery in Egypt. Name gives you identity. It tells you who you are. The Germans put on a number on you in concentration camps because they wanted you to lose your identity, who you really are. So identity is very important. The third one is Vayikra, and that's the first word in Leviticus. But maybe it means that God spoke to Moshe. He called him. He also calls us. He speaks to every one of us. There is a continuous dialogue going on throughout history between God and humankind. The fourth one is called Bamidbar, which means in the desert. Well, desert means it's no one's land. Maybe the house on which your home is built, the land, the piece of land that you think is yours, is really part of something else. The earth is the Lord's. You are there temporarily, really. I remember in one of the synagogues in the Caribbean, there was sand on the floor. And when I asked one of the people there, why do you have sand on the floor? He gave me several reasons, but one reason remained with me. He said the following: we're still in the desert. We haven't arrived at the promised land. We're not in Israel yet. We went out of Egypt and we are still in the desert. Maybe to tell us, that things really don't belong to us. The desert is no man's land. And if we think we own something, maybe we deep down really don't. The last one is called Devarim, Deuteronomy in English. But Devarim means words. It's through words that people communicate, that God communicated with us. This is what distinguishes the human being, the fact that he can translate sentiments into words, and words engender sentiments as well. So that names is something really very complicated. The first mitzvah that Abraham received was Brit Milah, circumcision. He was shown that in a serious relationship, whether it's human or with God, you have to sacrifice something. You have to be willing to give something. At that ceremony, we give the baby his name, his identity. A girl is given at a ceremony, some call Zevet, also, to give her own identity. By the way, do you know your Hebrew name? If you don't, why don't you find it out? Do you know your father's Hebrew name? Find it out, because you are so-and-so, son of so-and-so. Do you know the meaning of that name? Why don't you look it up? See if you can find out. See if you can find out the names of friends of yours. Take a look if they are really fulfilling the mission that they have in this world, because name is not an accidental thing. It is something that reveals really the character of the person. I'll just give you one example. The firstborn of Jacob was Reuven. You know what Reuven means really? Reuben. Take a look, I have a son. It was very important to give birth. So to give birth was very important. Make sure that you know what the meaning of your Hebrew name is, and make sure that you fulfill the promise that is contained in that name.